Following the ignominy of then Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson being unable to tell Senator Martha Blackburn what a woman is.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
Not in this context.
So
I'm not a biologist.
The meaning of the word.
The United States population now gets to witness another stellar moment of Orwellian nonsense. It seems that the problem of understanding the birds and the bees has spread to California, where the government, for official purposes, literally is categorizing bees as fish. You might have heard about this crazy language-defying story, and we're here to add long-lasting information that exposes the source of the problem. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV, and here's the story as Chris Bell reports for WJW, quote, "A California appeals court has ruled that 4 species of bees are now legally considered fish." And why would the court do that? Well, of course, to bolster government power. People often forget that the more areas of life they cede to government so-called protection, the more the government power will corrupt their language. I warned about this when it came to marriage, writing in 2006 about how the late 1800s American move to have government license marriage and those who could conduct legal weddings saw people then battling over the meaning of the word marriage as defined by the government, not one's voluntarily visited church, seeing precisely what those conservatives didn't want to see. The government defining marriage in a way that opened the door to same-sex weddings as legal constructs. The more power one hands to the state, the less freedom one has, and the more of reality that will be shaped to conform to political desires, not truth. Thus, we see the California Appeals Court and bee-fish, the latest monstrosity created not through government DNA or mRNA experimentation, but through the fallacy of letting government handle the environment. Writes Bell, quote, "The issue was whether the bumblebee, a terrestrial invertebrate, falls within the definition of fish, a division in the list of endangered species and threatened species in the California Endangered Species Act. The Act identifies the protected species in separate divisions as bird, mammal, fish, amphibian, reptile, or plant." Yep, the California Endangered Species Act, which means this video actually is about the nexus between environmental protection, private property, liability, and commerce strangling government turf taking through fascism, also known as regulation. Quote, "It all started in a 2019 lawsuit between large agricultural groups in the state, such as almond and citrus growers, and the California Fish and Game Commission. The lawsuit specifically set out to determine whether the commission exceeded its authority when it designated 4 bumblebee species as endangered species: the crotch bumblebee, the Franklin bumblebee, the Suckley cuckoo bumblebee, and the western bumblebee, calling them invertebrates, therefore falling under CESA's definition of fish. Fish, as they say in Red Dwarf. But how, one might inquire, would the state's presence in this area be a drawback? It's a problem because these agricultural interests grow crops that attract the insects. And so bureaucratic busybodies who know about that will move in to restrict certain types of harvest or fertilizing or other activities on the property of those business owners. Literally, this is a case wherein the businesses that have helped the hives proliferate are being told that because of that proliferation, they can't utilize their land as they intend. That is a form of taking, a regulatory taking. That's no different than government agents telling you that you can't use your own garage because a mouse has moved in. The point is that regardless of the rationale or stated government justification, the claim over your property is supposed to be wholly your own and not that of other people who never bought the land. But because people don't question the illegitimate foundation of government's so-called regulation, the state has inserted itself, and the argument has centered only on what the endangered species categories are, which has led the bureaucrats and government lawyers to do some tricky wordplay. Voila! Bees are now flying invertebrates, aka like some kinds of spineless aquatics that are covered by the Act, and the state can tell farmers how to handle land that might attract those 4 kinds of bees. In the ruling, the courts gave the commission the legal authority to list invertebrate species as endangered, even if they are not aquatic animals. We next consider whether the commission's authority is limited to listing only aquatic invertebrates, the ruling stated. We conclude the answer is no, although the term fish is colloquially and commonly understood to refer to aquatic species. The term of art employed by the legislature in the definition of fish in Section 45 is not so limited. The lessons keep piling up, but they've been visible for a long time. In fact, for conservation interests and pollution to be deemed problems, real people have to be allowed to assess the degree of their problematic nature. And they have to be able to compare that with other problems. This requires personal valuation, private property interest, and full ownership. It requires liability for injury of others' property and price attachment to all of those issues. Otherwise, people can't compare and figure out what really is important to them. Government doesn't allow any of that valuation and determination. And as it invades more of our world, where we could make these decisions for ourselves, so too does government invade the language, creating official definitions of things that would best be determined by us members of society based on our own values. The environment won't go to ruin if we're allowed freedom and personal responsibility. And neither will the language. George Orwell tried to teach people all about that in 1948 when he released 1984. And he warned us of the danger of Ministry of Truth bureaucrats redefining our most basic words. And on the federal and state levels, government agents try to do that all the time without end. This is a moment where we can learn the roots of the problem. Private property is key to both managing the environment and maintaining that standard about truth, language, and respect for others. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Please like and subscribe. Find us on Rumble and comment if you are so inclined. Find us on YouTube, of course. We'll see you in the comments section. Find us at MRCTV.org. That's MRCTV.org. Visit the MRC Store and help out the Media Research Center in its 35th year. And of course, we'll see you on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And on Gab, I am at Gardner Goldsmith. And on Twitter, I am at Gard Goldsmith. For MRC TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.